this video, I'm going to be talking about what it takes to be disciplined as a sports bettor. I'm not going to be Mr. You can do it, the sky's the limit, or even your personal cheerleader. I do like cheerleaders though. But I am going to tell you how you can actually be disciplined and make money with sports betting. But there are a number of things that a lot of sports bettors do that are fundamentally wrong. And as a result, they don't have a lot of long-term success. But I promise, if you're persistent and willing to learn, you can actually make good money with sports betting. And most importantly, you're just going to make money from knowing about sports and knowing how to read statistics and how that can actually make you money. Let's do this shit. Okay, so if you're going to be disciplined with sports betting, you have to know how to manage your bankroll. It's the number one thing you have to do. I see this so many times. People will have these bankrolls and then all of a sudden they had $1,000 and now they have nothing. They didn't manage their bankroll. That never happens to me because I know exactly how I'm going to manage my bankroll. Okay, so let me show you how dumbasses bet. They have $1,000 bankroll, right? And then they find 4 football games that they like. So they'll bet $250 on each game. Most of the time they'll end up losing 3 of them. Hell, a lot of the times they'll end up losing 4 of them. Or if they're lucky, they'll win 2 of them and break even. And then later on down the road, they'll try the same thing again and lose it all. Before you know it, you've lost all your money and I took your girlfriend. Okay, so let me show you a better way to manage your bankroll. Bet 1 to 3% of your bankroll on each play. Meaning if you had $1,000 in your sports betting account, you would bet $10 or $30 on each play. And never bet more than 20% of your bankroll each day on sports betting. Typically, I do like to keep this percent around 10 or 15%, but never go over 20% each day for betting your bankroll. Meaning if you had 4 plays and they were all 3% plays, like you had $1,000 in your account and you're betting $30, $30, $30, $30, that would be 12% of your bankroll. Okay, I'm going to start off by saying I don't know diddly poo about the stock market. But what I do know is I have a retirement account with Fidelity. You're welcome, Fidelity. You're now famous because I mentioned you on my video. They love me. But anyways, there's basically an S&P 500. What that is an index fund. Essentially, you're just putting money in and you're betting on the American economy. I don't know if that's a good definition or not, but that's what I'm going to go with. Well, every single year, the average of that money going in is like 10.7%. Granted, there are some years where it actually goes down, but for the most part, it consistently climbs up. But if you're ever having problems sleeping, just read an investment book. That will put you sleep really quick. But anyways, sports betting is like the stock market. You want to keep your investments low, but you know as over time that money is going to grow. That's why we go with the 1 to 3% when we place our wagers. Also, if you want a movie recommendation, I recommend Wolf on Wall Street. But anyways, to tie in the stock market with sports betting, what I'm trying to say is you don't go with some company that, you know, they're a new starter business and you don't know if they're going to do anything or not, and you put a shitload of money on them and then, oh fuck, I lost my money. It's the same thing with sports betting. We grow that money slowly with 1 to 3% plays. Also, we don't have this all or nothing mentality that a lot of people in the sports betting world have. If you want more information on managing your bankroll, make sure you check out my other videos on that. I go into full detail about that. Also, remember, 9 out of 10 doctors recommend reading an investment book if you're having trouble sleeping. Alright, so the next key to being disciplined with sports betting is you have to do your research. I can't stress the importance enough of doing your research. I don't ever blindly just go into a game and think, oh, you know, this team's better, they're going to win. So if you're betting on teams to win or cover a spread, you might want to check and see what their home record is, what their road record is, what their last 10 games have looked like, 5 games have looked like. Do they have any injuries? Don't just go with the sharp money. The sharp money is not research, and I've done a complete video on mistakes that a lot of sports bettors make, so make sure you check that out. If you're betting on overs and unders in sports betting, make sure you check the weather report. That's a very important factor for overs and unders. Check the team's stats and see if they have a history of doing overs or unders. If you're betting on player props, make sure that player's actually playing in the game. In baseball, they announce the lineups before the game starts. So if you place a wager on a player that's not even in the lineup and he comes in and pinch hits, you're going to lose that bet. In baseball, check the batters, and if you're betting on batters, see how they do against right-handed or left-handed pitchers. See if they play better when they're at home or away. Check to see how they do against divisional rivals if it's a divisional rival game. All I'm trying to say is just I don't ever place a bet based on, oh, the run line looks good and I like how much it pays. I always check and make sure I do my research before placing any wager. Okay, so now that we got two of the most important things out of the way, managing your bankroll and doing your research, we need to talk about something that's very important. You need to have a strategy when you are betting on sports. Think of it this way. In football, let's take the Kansas City Chiefs, for example. One of their strategies might be that we're just going to score a lot more. We're going to pass a lot more. We know we got Patrick Mahomes. We know we can pretty much outscore anybody that plays us. Now, if you take a team like the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFL, their strategy might be drastically different from the Kansas City Chiefs. They know they have a really good defense, and they know if they can run the ball and rely on their defense to shut down the other team, that's their best chance of winning. Now, if you're the Chicago Bears, your strategy is to not embarrass yourself because you're horrible, and you might want to get a first-round draft pick. But seriously, the Bears were 3-14 last year. They had a negative 137-point differential. That means by average, they lost by 8 points a game. Okay, so what does a betting strategy look like? Believe it or not, it's not based on who's going to win all the time, or really, I don't even like that strategy of placing wagers based on who's going to win and taking the points. For instance, in baseball, one of my best strategies is to look for weak pitching teams. They're playing good hitting teams, and then take those good hitting teams and betting that they're going to get more hits than the other team. In basketball, for example, you might want to take players that are going to hit the over for three-pointers because they're playing a team that doesn't guard the three-point line very good. In football, you might play on player props where the running back is going to rush for an over yardage versus really crappy defenses that can't stop the run. In sports betting, you're going to have hot streaks and you're going to have cold streaks. You have to have a strategy where you're managing your bankroll properly, you're doing your research, and you're sticking with whatever way you're researching something and just keeping at it and doing something consistent. Get really good at looking at bullpens in Major League Baseball, studying defenses in football, studying offenses and defenses in basketball. Whatever you're betting on, you have to be an expert at whatever area you're trying to bet on. Really, I believe this is why a lot of sports bettors will fail, because they really just don't have a solid strategy. They might just take, better teams and put a whole bunch of money on them and bank on that team winning, and then once they don't, they're kind of out money. That's not a good strategy. It's going to lose every time. Another really crappy strategy is to basically stack on teams, meaning if you picked them in one game and then the next game you double up on them, and then maybe the third game you're going to even triple up on them. That's a horrible strategy, and I've actually done videos on mistakes, so make sure you check that out if you want to steer clear of some mistakes you could make with sports betting. Okay, so let me show you a tool that you absolutely need if you want to be on top of your sports betting. It's called OddsJam. It's really a great tool for managing your bankroll. I mean, you can put all your bets in. You don't have to manually do it. It auto syncs them in. You can keep track of them. Gone are the days of having to enter your stuff in Excel. I mean, that sucks ass. Even if you don't use their paid features, the tracking is completely free. You can quickly research games and stuff that you want to bet on with their state-of-the-art tools that actually can make you a ton of profit. Positive EV tools, betting arbitrage tools for no-risk bets. They scrape over 140 different sports books so you can get the best prices. If paying for picks is something you want, you can do that for a monthly rate with OddsJam. There's nothing wrong with paying for picks. In fact, if you don't like doing research and everything, it's probably the smarter way to go. Awesome customer support that's not based overseas, so you don't have to fight with the language barrier. Shout out to Randall and Sarah. I'll put a link in the description below if you are interested in OddsJam. Okay, so hopefully you've learned something about being disciplined and sports betting. If you like this video, would you go ahead and like it? And leave a comment down below. Let me know if you think Superman would beat up Batman. Let me know if you have any questions on being disciplined with sports betting. Or just tell me your deepest, darkest secret. And make sure you check out the description box. There's always a lot of links down there that you can check out. And subscribe to my channel if you want more betting tips. And I'm out! I got shit to do!